Hello everyone, my name is Winder and today I'm going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite childhood games, Final Fight. Final Fight is a side-scrolling beat-em-up video game released by Capcom in 1989 on the arcades. It was very successful, and then it was ported to home consoles like the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, and others in the following years. Today I'm going to focus on the arcade version. It was the one I played the most and I consider it the optimal way to experience the game. I'd like to take you through the game, its mechanics, the story, and along the way I'm going to do my best to explain the qualities that I believe made this a very good game to me. The controls for Final Fight consist of 8-way movement and 2 buttons, one for attacking and jumping respectively. As a last resort in case of being overwhelmed by enemies, pressing the attack and jump buttons simultaneously will perform an invincible special attack. This strikes all surrounding enemies, but using it will drain a small portion of the player's health. This prevents players from abusing it. All 3 characters have unique elements. For example, Hagar is slow but a damage powerhouse that can jump after grabbing an enemy for a signature pile driver move. Guy attacks with fast ninjutsu moves and can jump off the walls. Cody is a more balanced character with neither superior strength nor speed, but he is good with knives and can use them more than once to stab enemies. The game's story takes place in the fictional crime capital of Metro City, where the newly elected mayor Mike Hagar has been working hard to reduce the violence and crime rate in the streets. In less than a minute, you have a plot. The Mad Gear gang call Hagar directly and they show him they have abducted his daughter Jessica. And of course, the mayor reacts like any good father would.
You done fucked up now!
He decides to take the fight against Mad Gear into his own hands. And he's not alone. Somewhere else, a man named Cody tells his best friend Guy that his girlfriend Jessica has been kidnapped and they both join Hagar in his rescue crusade. Beautiful. We have heroes, we have villains, and all we need is a quarter. Let's go. As a kid, I loved this moment because it always gave me the impression that the game started with an exciting chase. I also really enjoy how the game tells you the names of the gang members you're hitting. I think this gave them personality. There are interactable objects you can break to reveal items. Weapons like knives, pipes, swords, and different items worth different amounts of points. Overall, the game does a great job of always having something interesting and interactable on screen at all times. As you continue fighting, you finally reach the first level boss, Damned. Once he's been defeated, he staggers to the ground and the first stage is over. Time to move on to stage 2, the subway. Stage 2 begins at the underground station as the subway arrives. I like this little detail and man, this game sure captured the crime capital look well. The broken windows, the graffiti, it sure brings back memories of my childhood. This stage also introduces signature Mad Gear members like Andore, who has a choke grab attack and can slam into the player from the air. Once the subway stops, the Major and his companions they continue on foot and make it to the very end of the line, where it seems Mad Gear has set up an underground fighting ring. Here we get a look at the boss, Sodom. Once Sodom is defeated, the next stage is a bonus game where you get to destroy a car in a gas station. Pointless destruction? Yes. Is it fun? Oh, hell yes. When I was younger, playing this at the arcade, I always loved the bonus stage and the Mad Gear member reaction once he returns to find his vehicle wrecked.
Oh my god!
Still funny today. Stage 3 of the game is the west side area at night. After fighting Mad Gear members for a bit, the players smash their way into a bar. Here, in a surprise attack, Andore shows up and drags the player to a cage match. Again, as a kid, I thought this was super cool and it added a lot of extra excitement to the game. Once you escape, you face the corrupt cop Eddie, who uses his gun to try to stop you. The next stage is the industrial zone, and I always had trouble with this level as a kid because it has a lot of environmental hazards and the enemies attack you constantly while you're trying to dodge fire and rolling steel barrels. I think this is where the game starts to ramp the difficulty up a little more, even in the boss fight, with Rolento throwing grenades at you as you go up a large ascending platform fighting a lot of the Mad Gear psychos. After beating Rolento, he throws several grenades and blows himself up. The characters leave the industrial area, and there is another bonus stage, breaking glass. I always thought this bonus stage was a little boring compared to the first one, breaking the car, but at least this one is done quickly. The next stage in the game is probably my favorite stage in the whole thing, the Bay Area. The atmosphere is great. The music is one of the coolest tracks Capcom ever produced, and the action is relentless with big groups of enemies attacking you at all times. The level has two very memorable fights, the fight in the public restroom and the boss fight against Abigail. After you defeat him, you finally make it to the last stage in the game. The Uptown starts at the entrance of what seems to be a luxurious corporate building of some sort. The game throws everything it has at you in an attempt to make you use more quarters, and there are environmental traps all over the place. The building has a lobby section that leads to an elevator that takes the player to what seems like a very luxurious penthouse complex, with palm trees, grass, and even a pool. You continue breaking Mad Gear faces, and you advance to another section indoors with a balcony, statues, and more environmental hazards. Here we are, the final section. Once you see the carpet, it is the end of the line, a giant glass window, and at last, Jessica. The final boss is Belger, who sits on a wheelchair and has a crossbow. The villain falls to his death. Cue triumphant music. Hagar stays with his daughter and exchanges some heartfelt words. Cody and Guy leave as the credits roll. Some of the names in these credits are really funny. There is even a post-credits scene showing Jessica going after Cody for a kiss. What a fun game from a simpler time. Final Fight was a success in my local arcades. All the kids loved playing it and the co-op experience was fantastic. As far as the game's legacy, almost every character in this game is still relevant today in some way thanks to Capcom confirming that Final Fight takes place in the Street Fighter universe. I love this game and will always put it up there in my list of favorite beat-em-ups of all time. It was great then and it is still fun now, especially with a friend in co-op. If you have someone to join you, I recommend playing through it at least once. The gameplay, the music, the presentation, everything is still enjoyable. I recommend it.